Welcome back to The Lead. I'm Jake Tapper. Some diplomatic spilkus in our political lead. It's as cold as ice. And I'm not just talking about the winter weather here in Washington. No, I am referring to the typically warm and cozy relationship between the leaders of the United States and Israel that has gotten downright frosty. The chill's been going on for quite some time, whether it's Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu lecturing President Obama in the Oval Office, or Obama making Netanyahu take the side door in for a 2010 visit. Let's be clear, the respect each man has for the other knows bounds. But believe it or not, it has gotten even worse recently after Netanyahu accepted an invitation from House Speaker John Boehner to address Congress in March about the president's decision to keep negotiating with Iran over its nuclear weapons program. And they didn't tell the White House first. According to the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, President Obama told Netanyahu in a phone call Monday to butt out of American foreign policy. And a quote in the article quoted an unnamed U.S. official as saying Netanyahu, quote, spat in our face publicly, unquote. CNN's global affairs correspondent Elise Lavitt is live with the latest in Jerusalem. Elise, things seem to be about as bad as they've ever been between these two leaders.
Well, Jake, every time we say it looks as bad as it's ever been, it keeps getting worse. And officials I've been speaking to say that it is very serious. And it's getting ever more personal, they feel, against President Obama. And U.S. officials are warning that Prime Minister Netanyahu's actions could cost his country critical support from its closest ally.
Prime Minister Netanyahu's plans to address Congress on March 3rd, 2 weeks before the Israeli election, is causing new fractures in an already brittle relationship. The White House is furious with the Israeli leader for accepting House Speaker John Boehner's invitation. Aides say last week President Obama, in an angry phone call, warned Netanyahu not to interfere in his battle with Congress over Iran sanctions. But they say Netanyahu secretly plotted to do the opposite, arranging behind the president's back to deliver a speech critical of his policy.
Certainly, if we had the opportunity to weigh in on that schedule a little bit more, we would welcome that opportunity and probably make a variety of changes.
It's the latest confrontation in a series of growing tensions between the two allies. Last March, in a testy Oval Office meeting, Netanyahu rebuffed Obama's attempts to accept a peace deal with Palestinians. In October, the White House denied the Israeli defense minister high-level meetings over his harsh criticism of Secretary of State John Kerry's peace efforts. But frustrations reached new heights after a top White House official used an expletive to describe Netanyahu, saying in an interview with Atlantic magazine he had, quote, no guts to make peace with the Palestinians. U.S. officials say Secretary Kerry, who in the last month made more than 50 phone calls to allies on behalf of Israel to stop action in the UN Security Council and International Criminal Court, is running out of patience.
If the administration wants to get anywhere on the Israeli-Palestinian issue, on dealing with Iran, on stabilizing the region, they're going to have to find a way to manage their relationship with Israel.
U.S. officials insist Washington's support for Israel's security will remain despite political tensions. But the timing couldn't be worse, as the Middle East itself teeters on the brink.
And Jake, officials say that this is an issue where Prime Minister Netanyahu is really using his visit to Congress as a campaign stop just weeks before the election. But they warn that could backfire on him if Israelis about to go to the polls see that he is doing such damage to this critical relationship, Jake.
Elise Lavitt live in Jerusalem. Thanks.